Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to the Everton Daily Live, Thursday, the 29th of February. Ned said, what happens on the 29th, if you're born on the 29th of February? When's your next birthday?
4 years.
That's what you said.
Let's say it like that.
You did say it exactly like that.
Birthday winners.
Maybe you said it like that. So, yeah, 4 years. But Ned isn't born on this day, so I don't know why he's asking. But I did say he's got till midnight for any girl could propose to him until midnight.
If I was
you, I'd lock myself in the bedroom.
Because
they've gone
you,
flocking.
You, sir, they'll be like sheep. They will flock towards you.
But you're playing walking footy tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, you might get some groupies there ready to propose to you and your fellow teammates. So, boys, if you're playing footy with Ned tonight, be very aware that you may well
proposal
get
stop
proposed to. Exactly, and that would be a good excuse, wouldn't it? Ned, wear the GoPro just for tonight in case one of you gets
Ned,
proposal.
if you get a groin injury at footy tonight, hey.
It's disgusting.
Talking of groin injuries, Amadou Onana will be a late check on his groin.
He'll be fine.
And obviously we know that Dyche guy won't be fine with his groin injury.
Be fine.
They'll
all be fine. All of them will be fine.
Oh, okay.
Play through the pain for 2 weeks,
Danjuma.
and then you get 3 weeks off.
Danjuma, get some frozen peas on your ankle for the next couple of days and then just be on the bench.
Frozen peas on your groin.
Or your groin, whatever.
If you go that way.
Whatever you want.
What are you going on about? You've got a bit of a sore wrist, and
Mate,
that will. I'm blaming
He
that.
strapped it up every day.
Hang on. Sorry.
Because he's wanted it. Your camera should be on.
Sorry.
It's torn ligaments.
Sorry, can I just... It's not torn ligaments.
Who's diagnosed that?
Me.
Right, okay. So let me just educate the nation, and therefore the world.
Your camera should be on.
Right. Ned has hurt his arm, right? Now, considering his two occupations in life are pressing keyboards, buttons, and playing guitar, he thinks it's a good idea to play football. And let me stress, not good football, not average football, walking football.
I'm good.
Let me stress, if Ned is the best one there, then the quality of this football is of Father Ted proportions, right? And yet, he goes to football.
I can't confirm that. I've never seen
Well,
it.
I have. I've played footy with these people that are absolutely terrible.
I was the
Right?
best one on it.
Terrible.
And you were
Right?
playing.
Fat me. Run rings around them. Right? Fat me. No.
Not bend me.
Not elite me.
I carried us in that tournament.
You didn't carry anybody.
We lost every game.
After every game, all the opposition came over to me, were like shaking my hands like I'd lost a member of my family.
And me.
You all right, mate? Yeah, you done well there. You really showed some strength there, mate. All the best.
I carried that.
I did. You said after the game I should have started every game with the best player.
Who said that?
You.
No, I didn't. What I said was you should have started every game because I've seen your teammates. They were playing on other pitches with no tops on, like skipping about.
Was it like Top Gun?
It was.
Was it?
It was like Top Gun.
Danger Zone in the background.
Top Gun meets Revenge of the Nerds. Right?
I'm in through the danger zone.
That's what it was like. That's what it was like. In fact, some of them, I think...
Wasn't someone there that turned up so Ned could, woo her and take her home and...
There was no wooing.
Practice.
There was no
yoga
wooing
positions together.
Anyway,
And he didn't do that
digress. But why on earth this person feels like he has to complain about a sore arm? That literally, it would stop him.
His job.
It would stop him doing his job. We should put a veto on him playing football.
I won't lie, I was almost in tears on
The contract, his contract is currently with the lawyers.
What are you doing? Hurting your hand?
Haven't you got gigs booked this weekend?
Yeah.
So imagine you damage it tonight and that's it. You're out the gigs.
That's the calculated risk.
It isn't
not
a calculated risk. It's a stupid decision for you.
We apologise.
Forget about even though this is your job, even putting this to one side for a minute. You kind of need both your hands to play guitar, and you're putting a game of football that, with all due respect, doesn't mean anything. No. It's just a kickabout. Yeah. You could really hurt yourself.
Yeah. But imagine.
No, there's no imagine.
Imagine if Onana plays in this game.
It's dead simple, right? It's dead simple. If you say you can't do your job, you're not getting paid.
Yeah, I know. That's the risk I'm willing to take.
That's like saying Onana, as a footballer, has hurt himself, right? So his mates have said, we've got this boss thing we do in the night. We go here and we kick doors in, and you're going to come and kick doors in because it's boss. And Onana's going, my groin's sore and I mightn't be able to play for Everton on Saturday, but my mates are kicking doors in and I'm prepared to take that calculated risk.
Emma says, is Bella and Chris playing?
No.
That's the biggest thing. That's what everyone wants to know. Bella and Chris. If Bella and Chris is there, then no wonder that's there.
Last time I played football, Bella and Chris, he broke his shoulder. And he had to play our gigs with
hang on.
With a thing on.
Right. So the last time Bell and Chris played footy with you, he got an injury that almost ruined his guitar.
We also...
So did Bell and Chris take a calculated risk?
We also played a...
Calculated Chris?
Kind of. But we also played a gig post-op. You know, the big one.
Which was where he got the name Bell and Chris from.
And oh my God, he sent me a picture.
Did he have ice? He sent you a picture of his bell end after it?
No, not his bell end. His shower.
Less bell end talk.
His shower.
I don't know how he did that gig, to be fair to him. I wouldn't have done it. I would have been crying.
He took a calculated risk, apparently, to do the gig.
I mean, he sat down for it, but still.
Fair play. What a...
Have you watched The Detectorists?
No, but I know of it.
I was just thinking of the fella who can only play gigs sitting down with the guitar. I'm just thinking of Bell and Chris. But fair play.
Fair play, Ned.
Fair play, Ned. I personally wouldn't do it if it...
I'd give yourself just a couple of weeks just to let the hand get healed fully.
You've just got to make sure you're not damn. You know, you get paid quite well from your gigs. If you couldn't do them.
Resting the wrist.
But imagine, just say you hit,
he's resting the wrist.
He's resting it, yeah.
He's sitting there going.
Just say, for argument's sake, right, someone done a little bit broke out into a little bit of a jog and you're walking footy tonight, right? And tripped you over just by going for the ball and tripped you over and you landed on your wrist because automatically you're either face plant and you've got no face left. Your hand goes down. We've seen what can happen just on a run with nobody about.
Yeah.
Right?
It's dangerous, Will.
But imagine if you went down and landed on your wrist and absolutely wrecked it and you couldn't play gigs for 2 months because you've done something to your wrist.
I know, but
and you wouldn't be able to drive. So how'd you get to work?
I can't live like that.
How would you? No. Saying, if me and you were just having this conversation, like me and Ped are having this conversation, I'm saying, Ped, I don't think you should play walking footy with the Top Gun people because you might fall over and hurt yourself. I could understand Ped going, yeah, but that's like saying anything. I shouldn't go for it. No, we're not saying that. You are currently nursing an injury. You know, this is
on your arm.
In the last 6 weeks, you've come in with your knee strapped up, your ankle strapped up, and your hand strapped up.
I haven't had my ankle strapped
up
for at least 4 months.
You come in a knee brace the other week. A knee brace that people who have torn their ACL wear.
Yeah.
And you said I've done me knee ligaments from my ACL, I think. And then played a day later.
I think the lesson we have to learn from this is there's absolutely nothing
wrong. There's nothing wrong with it. Your wrist is a little bit tender.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong
with it. And you strapped it because you come in the other day like it's like toilet paper.
Suarez. Every time
like Suarez,
he kisses his wrist.
Gives you all that to get sympathy, and neither of us and John didn't even pay reference to it because we know what you're like. There's no issue with it. It's an attention. It's an attention seeking thing.
I don't even know what.
Because I've got it covered up.
Do you know what it looks like?
It's an attention seeking.
He looks like he's in kickboxer and he's about to dip it in the glue and the glass. It's not even a proper bandage. It's just gone.
He sat there before no one said a word. Me and John were talking. Put his arm up like this, watch. Because we were just having, and went like that. So at the corner of his eye, he was like reeked dressing it because he wanted us to go.
Attention.
What have you done there, mate?
And you have definitely got.
No, it's because I tightened it too tight. And I could feel my hand.
I'm not, mate. You want attention. There's no issue with it. It's just a thing.
You've definitely got Munchausen syndrome.
I've not got Munchausen.
You have got Munchausen syndrome.
I've not got Munchausen syndrome.
Munchausen's that freaking house in Germany.
You've got Munchausen syndrome. Baron Munchausen syndrome.
He is. Baron Munchausen.
It hurt.
Anyway, right. Let's move on. So you think Onana will be all right?
I think he's going to have to be all right.
He'll have to, won't he?
He's going to have to be.
We've just got to keep doing it, haven't we?
Saying that though, Andre Gomez back in the grass.
Good, get him back on. We want options off the bench, even if Gomez is like it's 15.
It's nice to know as well that it doesn't really matter about Delhi getting fit.
We could say
It doesn't really matter, does it?
It's a bit, all joking aside, right?
It just doesn't matter.
Delhi. Is there a... Everton have got to be very careful here as well, knowing the trouble that he's had.
Yeah.
I don't think Everton are going to... Or Sean Dyche particularly is going to come out and go, that's nonsense, we're not offering him a new contract. Of course they're not. So they've got to be careful with what they say. And I think the other thing, what he's trying to do is he's just trying to take any kind of pressure off him. And it's like, if he's available...
Well, he knew he'd get the question.
If he's available before the end of the season, great. If he's not, he isn't. And that's just the way it is, isn't it? The frustration thing is, if he'd have been available, we'd have used him a couple of times, wouldn't we? Because we didn't have the core. But at least Alex Jones has got Andre Gomez is on the grass. G-R-A-R-S-E. But it's a big game, isn't it, Saturday? Because if Everton could get past West Ham, there's no reason why we shouldn't. Stop looking at these teams like Man City. If we could beat West Ham Saturday, then that would represent a great week.
Could be the first double of the season.
And a good week for us, though.
Could be the first double.
Couldn't it? With 7 points, from better off than last Saturday. And I keep saying, Luton, if Villa could go and win at Luton and Liverpool didn't get beat at the City ground, even if it was just a draw, then we give ourselves a bit of a buffer and put ourselves in a healthy position. And Everton, speaking to someone this morning, took the dog out. That thing of, all right, Baz, we have a chat, what do you think about the points? And I was like, yeah, I'm still a bit pissed off. But he was saying exactly what we've been saying. Got to start taking care of ourselves, though, haven't we? We're looking for externals. I know it's not externals because I've already moaned about Norwood moaning about it, or Norsgaard rather moaning about it the other day. The points, they were our points in the first place. We haven't been given these bonus points. We'd won them. But we have to start taking care of our own business. We haven't won a Premier League game since December the 16th. It's March tomorrow. Yep. So Everton have got to start winning games of footy. Then that second charge would become less and less of a worry. Start winning games, wouldn't it? You'd just go, well, what are they going to do?
Yeah.
Saturday's the start of it. If we don't win Saturday, then the pressure mounts then go to Man United
week,
away.
And then there's no game for 3 weeks. So your feet starting to feel that pressure.
And isn't it Bournemouth away and Newcastle
people
away?
Will start worrying then about the second charge and stuff. So, yeah,
it's the last time we're at home till April the 6th.
It's over a month, isn't it? People, and there's a lot of time there to worry, by the way. It's a lot of worrying time. And
we'd have already had our case as well, wouldn't we?
So we need to get a win, and we need to be all guns blazing. I think Saturday 3:00. I think we have to be ready for it. West Ham have won one game
this year.
Okay, it was the other night, but I watched. Brentford aren't great, and West Ham looked like if you could get at them, which you can, of course, we know you can. We just have to be braver and attack them and have a go at them, and because
tempo, isn't it?
Yeah, because the stats simply are we are the worst team in the Premier League for taking chances. That's just facts. We can talk about all these teams, but Burnley, Sheffield United, and Luton are above us for scoring goals. That's horrific. We were promised that the XG would pay us back. We're going to be winning some games about 12-0 then. Because
we're bottom, aren't we, if the conversion rate?
That's what I'm saying.
We've got an 8% conversion
rate. It ain't paying us back. We're scoring from set pieces. And yes, we are consistent with that, but we've said this before, it's shown on some days that's just not going to work. And
West Ham isn't the team that strikes me as someone you can guarantee scoring a goal off a set piece against. David Moyes normally well organised, so you've got to open them up. We have to start
scoring goals from all over the pitch. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Dwight McNeil, Harrison, Decore, they all have to start scoring goals. It's as simple as that. Because as much as we can complain about the points deductions, it's about what you do on the pitch. And if Everton, I said this yesterday, if Everton can't finish this season 6 points ahead of Luton, then that's a terrible season as far as I'm concerned. And it's one that you've got to ask questions at. But there's still There's still 12 games to go. There's still massively in our own hands with the games we've got. But we're looking at those home games going, that's our salvation. That has to start. It should have started against Palace. But certainly has to start Saturday, because every game you don't win, it just puts pressure on that next one and that next one and that next one. So we've got to get it.
Martin says few people writing that the PSR breach is nothing to do with stadium costs, although the Premier League and IC said there was no evidence of this. It surely must be a factor. They did change their minds, and of course we failed it because of the PSR cost. Of course we have, because of a stadium. Because the very simple question is, if Everton aren't building a stadium, do they breach? No, they don't. So that's the top and bottom of it. People can... Who is it writing it? Who are writing it? Because the people who are writing it have obviously got a weird narrative. It's the same narrative that Everton have bought loads of players and that's why they failed it. The same thing as if Everton wouldn't have bought Mikalenko and Nathan Patterson, they'd have been fine. It's all nonsense. So tell me who is writing it, because it's nonsense. Without the stadium, Everton don't breach, because Farhad Moshiri's money that has gone on the stadium would have gone into run the club. Wouldn't have needed other money, wouldn't have had to borrow money, wouldn't have pushed the interest payments. So of course, that's nonsense to ignore that. So, somebody else, where are we? Sean says, why am I well, I mean, don't, but why am I arguing with Copites over whether Pienaar was better than Stuart Downing?
Oh my God.
Don't that, mate. Pienaar's left toenail had more talent than Stuart Downing ever had in his body.
No one. I remember at the time. I remember very vividly having this argument with someone about Baines. Funny enough, and I was talking to this because obviously when I was a taxi driver back in the day, and I remember some lad thought he knew everything, and I was like, Baines will play for England and all this, and he was like, what are you talking about, Papa? He's terrible and all this. I was like, no, we will, honestly. It's one of those things where you never see the person again, so you can't be proved right. But there are players who play for your team that just simply don't get respect from other places, from other clubs, because everyone has them. But like we both rate Pienaar higher than Arteta. In fact, we need a Pienaar shirt for the wall. We both, like when Arteta had that year out with the knee injury, it was Pienaar that stepped up, wasn't it? Yeah. No, sorry, towards the end. He stepped up. He should have got the contact. Yeah. Sorry, when Arteta got the contact, he should have got the contact. And that's why he was pissed off, and that's why he went to... that's why he was... Basically, why I decided he wanted to leave, because he thought he was worth the same value as what Arteta was. And I just think when you look at the team, Arteta was brilliant, don't get me wrong, can't rewrite history. But Pienaar was so important for the way we played. And obviously with Baines down that side, I know they didn't win anything, and that's a cruel fate of that team. I've often said the team between 07 and 09, what Moyes built, I personally believe it was a better team than the Leicester team that won the league. That's my own opinion. Of course, people will say, oh, yeah, but they won the league.
We just needed...
I just thought the league then...
Yak to stay fit.
I just thought the league was stronger. And we were just... If we could have kept those players fit, then we probably... Not probably, but obviously the team we played in the FA Cup final against Chelsea, I mean...
If we would have
no Jags...
If we had Jags, Arteta and Yakubu,
yeah,
and Itibi off the bench, we'd have beat them. We nearly beat Chelsea that day.
That group of players was so unlucky, and because you look back and people might go, never won nothing. And I always find it's always hard to look back at teams. Not that we've got loads, if you're young, but it's hard to look back at teams and go, well, they didn't win anything. So, but like the '95 team won a trophy, but the '95 team for me weren't as good as that Moyes' 07, 09 team at all. It's just circumstances, isn't it? And Pienaar was just brilliant. He was absolutely brilliant. And obviously Baines was brilliant. And we look back now at those moments so fondly, because every week, Pienaar, when people talk about like Harrison and like say Dwight McNeil now, and they say, oh, they work really hard. Pienaar worked just as hard as them, but had all the skill as well. So no matter a lad who played for Ajax, then went to Dortmund, Didn't settle in Dortmund, and then Moyes scooped him up, and he loved playing for Moyes. Absolutely loved it, because he said he challenged them to work hard and put the skill in. Pienaar was brilliant, and honestly, sometimes it's hard to have conversations with people who just don't understand that area of football. Stuart Downing, no, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. No, Pienaar was brilliant. And we've got literally nobody in our squad right now who's as good as him. Sadly, he was just absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Stuart Downing, Stuart Downing wouldn't get an Everton side now. When he was fit, obviously not at his age now. You know what I mean? He clearly wouldn't get in. But
also, Stephen Pienaar got to watch me score a hat-trick at Goodison Park. So you've got to ask yourself, he's had such a lucky time at Everton.
Stephen Pienaar was one of Everton. He's brilliant. He's fantastic, and if you don't see it, you don't see it. That's up to them. But the Liverpool fans, you wouldn't. Well, some. Let's not tar them all. Some of them, you can't have a proper discussion with them, because every player they've got is amazing, and every player that Everton have got is crap, and that's just because they're just not intelligent enough. It was Matt Slater who wrote.
Was it in the Athletic?
In the Athletic, that it was nothing to do with the stadium breach that Everton, the stadium that Everton breached PSR. It's Matt Slater.
Is he taking that as a personal point of view, or is he taking that from what he's read in the?
I don't know. But the whole thing is that it's just a dead simple question. Without the stadium, do Everton breach? And the answer's no. So I don't even think you need to dig any deeper than that. That's what it is. It's like I said before, it's the same narrative as Everton have spent loads of money on players, and yet I think John was doing some numbers yesterday, and Everton's squad has been reduced every single year since 2017 or 18, the size of it. It's got smaller and smaller. The money's got smaller and smaller. The wages have got smaller and smaller. So, it's just...
all those pesky managers were having to pay off.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. I'm not convinced that Masters is going to America to speak to 777. It's happening in London, apparently. So there you go. No, I wouldn't move Onana a bit more forward side. I know what you're saying, because then you'd have bigger fellas breaking into the penalty area, but he's better for us sitting in front of the back four, and particularly if he's not 100% fit, you want him just sat and protecting, don't you? And let the core do that, and it'll be James Garner, won't it? Because it seems as though Idrissa Gana Gueye is out as well. But we'll see. Jesters in the Blues for Pienaar was class. He was. Nicky New Blue says Pienaar.
Yeah.
Rich says, have I missed any thoughts on 777's latest financial bashing? This was reported about 8 weeks ago, I think, or 9 weeks ago. It's just the Athletic have just recycled it again today. So it's not part of their thing anyway. They're part of a group. They have 63 companies, I think, in what their thing. It's just one of them. Don't know. Keep saying it, no idea, but just get a decision one way or the other. James says Pienaar and Baines best double act since Morecambe and Wise. James says Slater did a podcast with Ornstein and Paddy on Everton on Monday night. I think it's all on there, Baz. Paddy who? Patrick. Oh, Paddy Boylan's. Oh, okay. Well, surely Paddy knew that it's to do with the stadium and said something. Chris says Matt Slater kept saying we had warnings and ignored it. This idiot mustn't realise the Premier League had. This makes me laugh, this thing of Everton had all the warnings and just went against the Premier League, when we know quite well the Premier League have to ratify everything you do, and told Everton, I think it was 5 players Everton couldn't sign over the period because the Premier League vetoed it. So, you know, even looking at like the Delhi, when we signed Delhi that day, it was with the Premier League for hours before they said, yeah, you can do that then. So this thing that almost like, we kept telling them, but they just ignored it. That's nonsense as well. That's the Premier League trying to backtrack. It's just utter rubbish. And these journalists have been fed, because I've said it before, I don't want to keep banging on about it's done, but I've said it before. If you start a process and you're in agreement with something, someone who needs to be in agreement with you says, yes, that is fine for you to do that, and you know that process is going to take 4 years, how halfway through that 4-year process can you change the rules? And people think that that's fair. That, to me, is utter crazy. It's utterly crazy. I like I said, you either say at the very beginning of the thing, you can't. You can build it, but you can't include it, or it's going to go against your PSR. No problem with that. Don't let anyone do it. Or you agree for the period and go, yeah, you're building that. That's where that figure's come. You can't halfway through go, no, we're changing it now. You can't have that anymore. That, to me, just on anything, that to me is nonsense. Nonsense. And then, as Eltel says, there was 2 legal errors that the First Commission made, or the Premier. 2 legal errors. Now, in a normal court of law, that kind of stuff gets the case thrown out. Say it was like a criminal case, if the police made a legal error, the case is gone. The case is thrown out. And yet, in this one, you can apparently just do whatever. They just go, oh, they made errors, but we'll clean it up. No, what do you mean they made errors? Well, this wasn't quite right what they did, and that wasn't quite right what they did. That should have been enough to go, yeah, it's done. Nothing to answer, off you pop. But hey-ho. And the other thing about the compensation, I seen that story come out as well on Tuesday or Monday night. They're going to meet up now, the club's ready to sue Everton. So I'm buzzing because we're getting ready to sue Manchester City. So 2014. So what average group costs for the Champions League is that 80 million, isn't it? So 80 million because City beat us in 2014 to stop us getting in the Champions League. So there's 80 million. Manchester City knocked us out of the semi-final of a Carabao Cup. So that'll be another million plus revenue plus whatever. So we're going to end up suing City for 100 odd million for things they've cost us. League positions, league placings. Because if City have done it. Oh, and Chelsea. Well, Chelsea were allegedly cheating in the 2009 FA Cup. So we win the FA Cup in 2009 without all that going on. So money, euro. And this is where it all becomes utter bullshit. And that's what was written the other day. Absolute nonsense. Eltel says, error of law by a public body may include the application of the wrong legal test, acting in bad faith, not taking into account. That by law ought to have been taken into account, determining an issue that is not for that decision maker to determine. Matt Slater, him with Ornstein and Paddy and someone else said the overspend was on players. It's embarrassing, really. Rita says home and away share for Pienaar. She's got one with Lecoq Sportif. Do you have a PO box number? There you go.
Let's get it done.
Get it done, Rita.
Let's get it done.
Nick says clubs aren't going to sue each other. And they're not. It opens up a huge can of worms, and we can do the same thing, can't we? Let's have a look on Premier. Kev says, all right, lads, do you think the rumours are true about the Delhi contract? Surely can't offer him a new one. The only way I would ever see anything like that would be like a pay-as-you-play. But who knows, mate? Who knows? I can't. It seems unlikely, but you never say never, do you? Because we can't. Dave O'Leary, former Leeds United manager, national defender, says, afternoon, lads, thoughts on the midfield lineup if Garner and Onana are out. Well, we think Onana will play.
We'll get him through it.
If it wasn't, it'd be James Garner and probably Dwight McNeil or Decore. Ashley Young play on the right, Jack Harrison play off Dom. They'd do it that way, wouldn't he? But I think Amadou Onana will play, to be honest. Glenn says, Ned, this is for you. If someone born on a leap year 40 years ago, how many birthdays have they had and how old are they?
Well, is there such thing as a birthday,
Oh, God.
really? Because time is man-made.
Can you stand to the question?
They
stand to
are,
the question?
in humans' terms, 40 years old because they have passed 365 days.
But how many birthdays have they had?
Well, they haven't been able to celebrate.
So how many birthdays have they had?
Well, 10, but...
Yeah, there you go. That was the
Okay,
answer. That was the answer.
Just celebrate it on the day before, wouldn't you? I mean, people these days celebrate the birthday for a week anyway.
He's just asked you the question. That was all. You've answered
You
it.
celebrate injuries for a week.
That is true.
Well, now I'm angry, so thanks.
That is true.
Why are you angry?
Because leap days just like make me stressed.
Okay. Richard says, all right, lads, and Ned. Another afternoon working from home listening to Toffee TV. Mike says, is it Ned's experience with Tuesday Nobel blind footy that has fine-tuned his footballing vision? Hashtag no vision Ned. We couldn't possibly say.
Ned goes to match and wonders why there's not a bell inside it.
Josh says, I don't envy Dyche, no Garner or potentially Onana. I can see what 5 p.m. on Saturday's going to be like. Bouncing up the table is what 5 p.m. on Saturday's like. Everton flying up that table. A Dominic Calvert-Lewin brace as we beat Moyes. Kev Murphy says Ned has got... He hasn't, mate, because he's not really that into it. So he couldn't really have that.
Have what? Oh.
Masturbation mishap.
No, let's leave it there.
Because he's not really into him.
Apparently he's had a warm-up fight with a seagull.
Yeah.
But it wasn't
Sparring.
a seagull. He went down a little bit.
Sparring.
Just a little crow or something.
Yeah. Wasn't even a little crow at that.
Baby crow.
Pigeon.
Starling it was. James.
Joseph?
Starling.
Joseph
Turned
Starling?
up, yeah. And he got beat. James says, yesterday you were talking about money wasted. Jonas Lersel never played for us and was reportedly on 50k a week. Shocking. He was on a free though, wasn't he?
Fair play to him.
That's why. And at Huddersfield he was their first choice goalie. Kev, pack it in. Steve says, Ped, I don't really agree when you said that the reason we don't sign pace is because they cost money. We've spent big money on players who can't even run. There's multiple fast wingers. And I think he was saying top draw players. I don't think he was saying you can't get any players who are quick.
You can sign Usain Bolt if you want.
Yeah.
He's fast.
Adringa, Ogbeni, Matoma, Wisher, Martinelli, Elise all cost under 10 million, half of what McNeil cost, regardless whether it was amortised. More deals are anyway. Could name many from Europe who we could get cheap. But that's what we were saying, weren't we? The opportunities to get out there now. This is what the scouting setup should be. And then you really will get hashtag thank you Kevins if they started bringing in some top players from Europe, younger players for less money. And ironically, the 777 stuff, the way they do stuff, they're the kind of players they do focus on. So that's a model that we used to use under Moyes anyway. And but we different type of play. We didn't try to go for the big shiny thing, mainly because we didn't have the money to do that. Got to look that way. Jez says, anyone else feel totally and utterly exhausted by this whole appeal and now trying to summon up Spirit of the Blues? Anyway, book birthday lunch for Saturday for my missus so I can miss the whole thing. I'm sick of this league, this season and this club. Can you set up a therapy session with some sort of mental health specialist once a week? He says, update though, Bella and Chris has helped me turn the corner. Thanks to Ned and Bella and Chris. Mathew Barry says, afternoon both, hope you well. Hello Mathew, hope you're good. Baz, you said yesterday on the live you're convinced 777 will be our new owners. Has the news about ACAP moving away from 777 changed your mind? Personally, I think they've probably got alternative methods of funding, otherwise they'd have walked on. It hasn't changed my mind, mate, because this news was out 2 months ago, I think. They've got 63 companies, so there is lots of alternative funding there. I think they would have been, the reason why I think it'll be passed is I think it would have been ended months ago, mate. I really do. The fact that they've got the same meeting Jim Ratcliffe had before he was given the old tick. Apparently someone reported today that this is a regular thing anyway, so it's like the last tick of the thing before it gets sent to be ratified. So I still think 777 end up as our owners. I might be massively wrong there, mate, but I personally just think they will be, and I think we'll know more. I think the meeting's Monday with 777, so I think we'll know next week. I thought it'd be this week. Apparently that meeting's been moved till Monday. Maybe. We know they have to get off to the pub on the Friday, the Prem, to have an afternoon, work and lunch or something. They can't do anything then. So I think it'll be next week, just because I think it would have ended ages ago. And then we'll have to wait and see what happens from then. Will he be good, bad, indifferent? I have no clue, mate. I have no clue. But I'm sick of the whole thing and just want it, and I just want it done with a decision. I just don't see any. There's no one else either. There's nobody else around. Because if they were, they'd be here, and they're not. So, yeah, Matt, I think they will be. And then we'll have to see where it goes from there, won't it? If they take over, mate, all the pressure's on them. They must know what they're getting themselves into. But all of that money will be in equity, as citizens of Suburbia's put out today. Mashiri, this is where the 1 billion debt thing is nonsense. Mashiri's money is all equity as well. We need someone to take. The damaging thing for Everton Football Club right now is this just floating, and the everything's going up, and no one's addressing it. There's no direction of the football club. It's just bobbing around, racking up more debt. And we need someone to get in and restructure the debt. R777, the best to do that. How would I know? I've not got a clue. But there's a good, in fact, I'll put it there, there's like quite a balanced view from an Evertonian that on Toffee web, actually, it's been sent to me. And the lads there saying, listen, there's a lot of bad news about them, and who knows whether they're good, bad and different, but Evertonians have got to look at it right down the middle, and that's what we have to do. If someone else is there waving, if Q80 State are waving with billions, by all means, go past them. Go and sort that out today. They're not. So anyone else who's waiting will be equally as bad as 777 or worse, because that'll be the pool that we are floating in right now. But I just want an end to the whole thing, mate.
It's what else is floating in that pool that worries me.
Well, there will be. It's not going to be perfect, is it? That's the way it is. That's where we are. We've got the owner to thank for that. So that's my feelings anyway, Mathew. I might be wrong. They might not get it, but I don't see any way they don't get it now, personally. And I'm probably like you, sick to bloody the back teeth of it all. We just need a line drawn under everything. So for me, so my brain can just reset and go, right, what can we do now? Like, how do we move forward? Because it's just so difficult right now. So difficult. Sean says we can beat West Ham, but they have better players. So it'll be a very hard game. Will be a very hard game. But aren't most games hard for us anyway? Mm-hmm. That's the way it is, isn't it? He's not into... I don't really want to say it, Emma, but, you know, sex. He doesn't love it, put it that way. Chris says, Ned, the guys are right. You have to look after your hands as a guitarist. Chris Byrne is rocked out in front of us. We know he's
Chris knows I'm a bit of an adrenaline junkie, so I like playing with a bit of...
No, what you got to remember is, though, if you want to be as good a guitarist as Chris one day,
that day is far away.
Then you have to look after yourself.
That is my dreams. Chris is a much better guitarist.
You've got to look after yourself. He's older than you, so he's had more time on his side.
Yeah.
And he keeps his injuries to a low stake because he doesn't put himself in silly situations.
Chris is a top shredder.
There you go.
Yeah. Nicky Newblue says need to get a bear pit atmosphere on Saturday. We do, and Everton need to come out with the manager and the coaching staff need to send them out and play with intensity right from the word go, because that will engage the crowd. Coming out and go and feel your way into the game, lads, doesn't work. The feel doesn't work. We saw that with Palace. We came out against Crystal Palace and it was flat. The players were walking around, it was flat. Then when they try to get some energy going, there isn't any energy there, and then people moan about the atmosphere. We'll come out and give us something to be excited about, then get a few shots away early, go and press. And you know, you saw what Leeds did to Chelsea last night. Pressing when they've got the ball at the back, nick the ball 1-0, give Chelsea a fright by having a go at them. Everton have got to be brave. We can't come out on Saturday and sit back and hope to catch West Ham on the counter-attack, because they'll be trying to do exactly the same. Neither team wants the ball. So, Ken says, I feel the same, Baz, so fed up with the takeover and the deduction. However, what drama are 777 going to bring? I fear it's just the start of another wave of uncertainty. I don't know, mate. I can't give you anything other than me just guessing, because I don't know. They could come in and could direct the club on a better path simply by having a plan that we haven't had for years, and simply by just improving a few things like the commercial deals, or I don't know. Put it this way, right? I honestly believe that it wouldn't take that much to move Everton into a better direction than currently where we are, and certainly where we've been for over a year. We've been stood still for way over a year, haven't we? Yeah. No, I don't know whether 777 are good or bad. Honestly, I don't. I honestly don't believe anyone can tell you that they're going to be bad owners or good owners. But what I'm saying is, what I do know is, right now we are drowning. We're drowning because we don't have any direction. We don't have any leadership. Imagine if 777 or MSP or whoever would have been successful like months ago. They might have made a different decision on the stadium. They might have gone, no, we need to have look. We've got all the numbers. We need to move into the stadium next December to get money in. And we need a better commercial deal. Castori, no thanks. We got tired. We can go and get into a room with these people and get more money. Naming rights, we can do a deal with this. That brings... We don't know. Yeah. And I'm not blaming people who are running the club right now, because what are they supposed to do? They're just going in and just keeping the lights turned on and just trying to do a job. But you need proper direction. And right now, I don't know. I just think we just seem to be bobbing along. I think Everton need a plan. I don't believe Everton have had a real plan for God knows how long, mate. Honestly, I don't. Do you think Mashiri had a plan other than just throw money at it? Because it didn't seem like that.
No.
And
got a clue.
And Bill Kenwright's plan was
got a clue.
Keep the lights on, wasn't it? Try and give David Moyes a few million every summer, and other than that, sail close to the win, because he didn't have the money, and it was still run like... We need to be dragged into this era of what Premier League is.
We have to be. We haven't moved for the 8 years. I know you and John done a show on it the other day, but we haven't moved for the 8 years. We've just used... At first, it looks like we used old thinking, which was before, the era was just changing as he came in. Yeah. And the FFP was changing. And we did it all back to front, didn't we?
Yeah.
Did it all back to front. Should have got the best director of football we could. Then he picked the manager, the director of football that being, and then go from there and do it slow and evolve it slowly. We all got caught up in it. Of course we did. We all got caught up in it. And it, it was exciting to sign players that we weren't used to. You have to trust people. You trust people. You have to hand over your trust, don't you?
Of course you do, yeah.
And I think that's why I basically am so sceptical anything about this football club now. Because you have to hand over your trust to people because you think they know what they're doing. Yeah. Because you go, wow, we've got a billionaire owner. He knows what he's doing. Surely he knows what he's doing. He's got a plan. And he didn't have a plan. And we are where we are now. And the thing about the whole thing is 777 aren't going away simply because they've got too much skin in the game. They aren't going to get their money back if this doesn't go through, because they've got no right to their money. They're way down the list. Yeah. Rights and media practically have Everton locked up, don't they? They practically...
I don't know.
Well, they do. They practically have Everton locked up in terms of money. They're the first port of call. They're the ones who stopped the other deal going through, aren't they? But
that was because they didn't like the...
No, but that's because they've got the club locked up. I'm not having a... They're the people who have been lending us money for a long time, and they have all the assurances. They're the first one, if anything ever went bad, they're the first ones to get the money back, or some of the money back. And this is where we are. We need a clean slate, but it's very hard when it's the stadium's involved, of course. But the stadium will be built soon, and if we can just get through to that moment when then that could be the game changer.
I think anyone getting in with a bit of a plan, it moves the club forward.
But the simple fact is, and I think this is the reality is, no one probably wants to, and I'll use the word probably, no one probably wants to buy Everton while it's so complicated. Because why would you? You've got to, who are you? I've got to give you some money. I've got to give you some money. I've got to give him some money. I've got to get the state. Why would you do that to yourself? When you could maybe wait till that dreaded A word, or very close to that A word, or wait till after that A word that no one wants to talk about. Or you could wait till someone else buys it, sorts all this stuff out for you, wants to flip it anyway, and you come in and get to buy a clean club with a great heritage, with a brand new multi-purpose stadium that is not only going to house football, but is going to have a deal that is going to bring the some of the best stars in the world to come and play, you know, every summer, and have football be part of the Euros and be, you know, attract international football matches from other aspects, you know, whether it be a Brazil or, you know, an Argentina or whoever, to play these large games in a fantastic place. And yeah, it's horrible at the moment. It really is. This feels like the absolute depths. I just hope that when this, you know, every day I watch the stadium progress a little bit more, and it just can't come quick enough. It just can't come quick enough. And you're absolutely right. Maybe if someone had got in earlier, they could have devised a better plan of how to use the stadium. You know, I think everybody who's in this room is still confused to why Everton aren't moving in for another year or so, because there's a thing sitting there which can make money and it's going to be empty for 8 months, or you know what I mean. That to me, it's that thing of why do something today when you can do it tomorrow, and that seems to be Everton's motto, and it's been Everton's motto for a very long time. And we often have this conversation, and you know, you said, will you say no? I just hate that word. There's no, in my eyes, there's no in football. There's no when there's money. There's no. Well,
there shouldn't be, no.
No, there shouldn't. There's no. If you want to do something, if you want to do something as a football club, you do it. Just because no one else is doing it or you haven't done before doesn't mean anything. Big clubs break boundaries. They change something. They do something. Look at Manchester City. They got a big chunk of land, and all they've been doing it for the last 12, 15 years is redeveloping it. Mini stadiums, academy. Now it's going to have a big arena on it. It's going to have an indoor fan zone. It's going to have a hotel. Those things, yes, take time, but you set that plan out, and you just keep on saying, no, we're doing this. You know, Ratcliffe will move that stadium, Old Trafford, over 10 foot and get the best stadium probably in the country. He won't listen to anyone else. I imagine he'll go, we're doing it. And that's the end of it. Here's the money, and I'm doing it. Dan Ashworth, 25 million quid. Come on. Not waiting, because that's what clubs do. They don't take no for an answer. For far too long as a football club, we've just sat there going, we can't do that. We can't do that. We can't do that. Yeah, because we've got small time
and
people.
That's why we need a fresh thingy. Yeah. And I don't agree with the reality. Like James, I disagree slightly. The money men are waiting until we get relegated and pick up the club on it cheap. Then they don't want the club. I've heard this before, and these mythical people who are sitting in the shadows, they don't want the club then. And we don't want them. If they genuinely want the club, they will come and get it right now.
No, but if you genuinely though, if you were a person with money and you had no affiliation for Everton, would you buy this football club right now?
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't. I'd let somebody else.
The only reason I would buy it though is I'd have to want the football club.
I'd let somebody else deal with all the issues, and then I'd come in. Now I'm not saying someone is out there. By the way,
no, this is why 777 will have it.
But that's why I wouldn't want to deal with all these headaches. I'd look at all this on paper and go, let someone else deal with all that.
But maybe that someone else is 777, and maybe you then sit on your hands and go, I'll put a bid in 2 years when things look, they're in the stadium, maybe things have turned round, and I don't know whether 777 would want to sell, I don't know. But that's when, maybe. They can't be, Gory, they can't do what? They can't, no one can come in because 777 are blocking. 777 can't block anything. There's this other thing, I don't know who puts this information out. It isn't.
It's an exclusivity period though, isn't it?
That's done. The exclusivity period was when it went to the Premier League.
No, I know, but I'm saying
all they have to do is make it clear they want it. If the Premier League have got real genuine issues with 777, they should have told them to go away. So therefore, if 777 are approved, everyone should just shut up because they've proved to the Premier League they've got the money. because they wouldn't get it past otherwise. And if the Premier League are happy, then no bloggers, no Everton fans, no moaners, no athletic journalists who have nothing to do with Everton or journalists in other countries need to say a word. Sit back. If you're that convinced it'll go tits up, sit back and let it burn. The Premier League say yes, then 777 have proved everything they need to prove. And everyone just needs to go, right, it's theirs. But other people could come. 777 have money. So what about MSP then, Gory? MSP have 130 million in a football club. They're not buying it. The Prem have messed up in what way? You can't, listen, I'm not sitting here saying 777 are good for Everton, by the way. I genuinely have no clue. What I can sit here today and say is there is nobody else out there prepared to put their head above the parapet. That's the truth. That's just a fact. If we want to sit here, what did James Redmond said? I just spit facts, whatever. That's all it is. They're the facts of life. If you are a billionaire or a consortium and you look and go, I could get Everton, we really want Everton, why would you risk losing out to these fellas over here, especially when the process for them has took twice as long as what it should have done? You don't. You go, we're here, we want to buy it, we'll get past within that time. Farhad, what do you want? Bang, job done, and it's yours. They're not there. There might be lots of people interested if 777 are kicked out and Everton go into administration. Might be loads. John Blaine would probably be interested. You know, we'd be interested. Could we afford it? No. But still be interested. And there'll be loads of people who probably can afford it if it goes into administration, because you get it for buttons. Yes, you've got to then go in and sort a huge mess out, but you get it for buttons. Right now, they're the only ones who have put their head above the parapet, who've gone so far down the track with the Premier League. Don't forget, the Premier League have dragged this on, in my opinion, because they're being vindictive to Everton now, but also because there's an independent regulator. And we've had Lucy Fraser, I think it is, saying that they're not interested in everything else. They're only interested in the financial side of the football club. So therefore, any new owner that comes in now gets doubly scrutinised, which is fine. No problem. 777 should be scrutinised, as is any other owner. But it's one of them. It's one of them. Yeri Mina says, no offence, Baz, but that's just rubbish. I think your comment's rubbish, but hey ho, it's a game of tennis. Loads of owners have been passed by the Premier League and have been utter shot. Of course they have. Of course, I'm not. What I'm saying is, I'm not saying if the Premier League passed 777, then they're whiter than white. That is not what I said. What I said is people are accusing them of not having any money, and therefore, if the Premier League have passed 777, it must be because they've proved they've got funds to keep Everton as a going concern. I think that's what the whole thing is. That's what has been put out there. So therefore, people going, they've got no money, this lot. They're probably just exactly the same. They're not... Okay, listen, it's boring now, isn't it? It's boring. All I said ages ago was I just want the thing concluded. If that's a no, great. If it's a yeah, great. We get on with it. We know where we are. Let's just get it done. There's no point having this because I could say Everton have got 10 players lined up for July the 1st to take us in the Champions League. Got to get some money and sort something out first. It never happened. You can get these imaginary people could be everywhere, couldn't he? Until he put their head above. I'm saying it, they're imaginary because you can't prove otherwise, because there's no evidence anywhere that there's other people interested in buying Everton Football Club. None. So that's it. And someone put the bobble. I speak to the bobble quite a lot. So I don't think he said there's people genuinely interested in buying Everton Football Club that are out there. There's probably loads of people who go, you know what? I wouldn't mind buying Everton. But where's the money? Where's the bid? It's like seeing a player who you think, I'd love him as our centre forward, and he's negotiating with the team. And you go, I won't put the bid in just in case they break down. And then I'll see if I can get him for a little. If you genuinely want him, you go and join the race for the forward, don't you? If you think it's going to end up in your... I wouldn't gamble that way. I wouldn't wait and go, I'll see if it breaks down, yeah. You get in there and you take him. Ned, you look like you want to say something. Go on,
I
mate.
think it's more of an opportunity, though, considering the amount of debt we've got. If it does. And Ped was explaining administration last week quite well. But is it still not more of an interesting opportunity if a club falls into administration for you to go, there's an opportunity there to get in quite cheap? And
so they don't want Everton then, genuinely, do they? They're just looking for an opportunity.
Well, yeah.
That's fine. So that's their opportunity. So they're opportunists, right? And I'm not denying this. There will be opportunists. I'm not denying that. Doesn't mean they'll be any good for Everton.
No.
Does it?
Nobody knows.
Because they don't genuinely want the football.
Nobody knows if anyone will have any good.
No, exactly. But so how can you say they're better than 777?
I've never said they're better.
No, that's my point. My point is, all I said.
But nobody.
I've never wavered from this.
Nobody knows if 777 will be good or.
Exactly, and I've never wavered from that point. Or my point, right the way I've played this, right down the middle, all the way. I just want it concluded, one way or the other. I've never ever. If anyone can find me saying, I want 777, they're amazing, they're going to sort this club out and we'll be buying play and all that. It's not out there because I've never said it. What I've said is, I just want this resolved. Now, my opinion is, do I think they will be passed? Yeah, the longer it goes on. It's like, do you know what I mean? The longer it travels, why isn't it just cut off at the knees then? That's where I am with it. I just want it to just go bang, let's go. But that's it. Where are we? Yeah, Nicholas says, Baz, I agree with it. I just want it done. Ian says, I'd love Triple H to sweep in and buy us.
No, he's a prick.
Is he? Yeah. There you go. I keep saying it. I want. There's Q80s, none of them own. They've got a lot of money, none of them own football clubs.
I'd rather him than
billions. So why? I'm genuinely, by the way, and I think I've said this all along. I've said it to John loads of times. I am genuinely surprised there's been like no Middle Eastern consortium with money. Honestly, I am. Even if that debt was like £1 billion, it's not, and it's nowhere near £1 billion. But even if it was £1 billion to own a football club with a brand new stadium, $1 billion to get it,
I'm not, because it's messy, and it's what we've had this conversation before. It's messy.
But what's messy? You're getting something with a brand new stadium for $1 billion, say, all right? And again, that figure.
I think 777 have showed that it's the whole procedure is messy, and I just don't think we as a football club have got enough about us for somebody to buy us. But look at Newcastle. That's the proof, isn't it? You can have as much money as you want, but the rules at the moment are stopping you from doing what you want to do.
So then we're knackered, really, then, aren't we? Because there's no way out of it then.
Yeah, but there is. But that's why I think, that's why I think someone, whether it be 777 or somebody else, it has to be part of either a portfolio or someone sees an opportunity to do something and almost like what Liverpool have done, where it's like you take something and you don't put massive pressure on it, you just put you put money into it, of course, and you put lots of expertise in it. So I think the problem with someone like, if you're looking at like a country, like a sovereign country or someone like that, is there's a lot of
Gory, yeah, same there, mate.
There's a lot of pride in it, isn't there? And I just don't think where we are right now, I just think it'd take a while to turn that ship round. Just right now, I just think why do that when you can almost let somebody else do the hard work? Because for me,
that's risky though, isn't it?
Yeah, but
because if you buy it, say like I let you, I really want something, and you, I want Ned, and you buy Ned.
I've already bought Ned.
You've got him. And then the risk for me then is that you just don't want to sell that though. I know, but I don't get it anyway.
But the thing about it, right, is if Brighton went up for sale today, and Everton are up for sale, and you've got money, who are you buying?
Of course, but they're already further along the line.
That's the point, isn't it?
But the point, I think me and John, I think the three of us all did say this at the start. And I remember this come from David Maddock as well. is that there isn't many Premier League teams that go up for sale, right?
No.
And Premier League clubs, the value seems to still be rising, right? I don't know how it'll play out, but that's how it still seems to be. And me and John were at a conference in October where there was a fella who deals with a lot of American consortiums, was like, they're constantly asking for Premier League clubs.
But what if we're not?
So why? So
what if we're not a Premier League club in 3 months?
Well, there is that.
That's another side of it, isn't it? We mightn't be a Premier League club, and that's a fact.
But MSP, we're in the mix.
No, but then we'd have all that. Then we'd have all the same problems without the financial muscle that being in the Premier League gives you, and that's just real, isn't that? A real thing. And I think a lot of these, if there are people out there, they'll have looked at the situation and they'll have gone, well, we can let somebody else.
So 777 get it, right? I think they will, but if they get it, then they own us, don't they? Yeah. So we just have to move on. So these people who are waiting aren't involved.
Yeah, but they don't own us right now, and that leads to, that's like saying if you're scouting two right backs and one, you feel like one's better than the other one, and you think, why aren't we? We do it all the time with players.
Yeah,
why aren't we going after him, and why are we going after him? Or why have we gone for that manager when we could have gone for that manager?
Yeah.
There's always somebody else who's
and people have information, don't they?
There's always somebody else who's better or is perceived to be better or has got more money or has got less. You know, I want Mark Cuban to take over Everton.
Yeah.
It ain't happening, but I want it, right?
Keep just pepper him.
And I'll shout it from the rooftop. There's a fella who's got loads of money and has already owned sports teams in America and seems all right, because of how he made his money. Now, people might tell me different. Would I prefer that? Yes. Is it going to happen? No.
Email him. He might.
I haven't got his email, funny enough. But Mark.Cuban at sharktank.com has bounced back to me. But that's the thing, isn't it? Like, we've all got people that we'd rather.
Who does he own? What club did he own?
He owns.
He's still in it, isn't he?
Yeah, but he's just sold a load of shares, which I made.
Yeah, but he might still have some.
I know, nobody's just made more money though.
Mark at the club, whoever it is. Yeah. Mark at them.
I think, where was he? Dallas Mavericks, was he? Maybe
something like that. Just go for the attention of Mark Cuban. Yeah, football club for sale.
You know, there's always going to be someone out there that people want you to buy or want. It is what it is. It's.
Like I said, just to reiterate, I just want a
Dallas Mavericks
conclusion. Dallas Mavericks. I just want a conclusion of this whole thing because it is literally burning my head out. The fact that it would just left hanging. If Mashiri was at the wheel, still driving it, and this was going on in the background, I'd just be like, whatever. He'll take whatever. But we know that he's out of the game. He's checked out, and that's the thing that I do. It is sticking in my throat. And it does feel vindictive by the Premier League to just string this along. That's how it seems. I might be massively wrong. It's only my opinion. I just want a conclusion to it. Other people might want to hang on to that thing like the New York Yankees owner the other day, which is now being dismissed as nonsense as well.
He sold the Dallas Mavericks for $3.5 billion.
He could buy Everton, put 600 million into players.
But isn't that mad though, right? Isn't that mad that a sports team in America, Dallas Mavericks, have gone for $3.5 billion? They don't win the NBA. They haven't won the NBA for a while. They've come close, I know, but they haven't won it. And yet a casino mogul has bought it for $3.5 billion. And yet we're told that Premier League clubs are the sort of biggest real estate in sports.
Three great suggestions. I mean, Lincoln's Mull3T says Mark Cuban is on record saying he reads most of his emails.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Get on the bleed.
Yeah.
You do that today.
Yeah.
And Yerry Mina too says, why don't we pull a Wrexham and do a sad video for him?
Getting it, don't
we could do like a little red hat, a rescue video for him to come and get
Mark Cuban sold it for $3.5 billion, yet has retained control of basketball operations. What a guy.
There's other places to invest your money now if you're a business. If I was a businessman or consortium, the least place I would want to invest money
I do
is a league that is under massive scrutiny. And not to forget, I'd invest in a Premier League club if it was either United, Liverpool, Arsenal. And I'll tell you why.
Go on, tell us why.
Because they tried to get off a year ago to the Super League, which would have been massively lucrative.
2
years ago.
3.
But the fact that nearly happening suggests that it could probably nearly happen, if not happen again. So what happens to the Premier League, the value of other Premier League clubs, if those said clubs were to get off?
They're the clubs.
So why would you invest in? Not to mention one of these clubs that we're talking about.
You know
is
what?
in massive debt, and then there's people investing in places like Wrexham. I'd rather go and buy a Wrexham and make a massive documentary because that's lucrative rather than investing in.
No, but listen, you're right. If you want to make money, you're not putting it into football.
No,
it's certainly not in the Premier League. Certainly not in the Premier League. But people do, because it does become whap your bits out. Do you know what I mean?
Making money though, is it for most of these people? For some it is. It's about. These are all fellas in like their 50s and 60s who are billionaires.
That's what I mean.
They've got nothing else to do. It's like John's just got into Football Manager. I imagine it's took over his life. Now imagine having the money to be able to do that in the real world and go, I'm buying a footy team and I'm just going to dictate how it goes. These people have got we can't imagine what these people. They've got everything. Nothing is like the way I was sitting on YouTube last night watching videos of some holidays or train journeys and stuff. And I'd love to do that, blah blah blah. It's these people can do it whenever they want. Imagine how boring their lives can become.
Yeah. Because they haven't got any.
Because they haven't got. There's nothing to do. I've been that place. I've done that.
Gary Neville said that.
Can I go to space? Yeah, I can go to space.
Neville said that to Rooney the other day. It was that interesting. He was like, he got into business because he said I finished football and thought I might have 35 years left of being all right, healthy and all. Like, what am I going to do every day? Because
you've got to have something to get you. You've got to have something to get you up in the afternoon. You've got to have something to get you up in the morning. And for these people who've got unlimited money, you're never running out. Michele shouldn't have any money left, should he? Really, by real right, but he's got money, and he'll never run out of money. No. Billionaires are never running out of money. No. It's not it's as simple as that.
Nathan says, don't agree with you, Baz, about there not being anyone there waiting to buy. Okay, where are they? That's all I'm saying. Where are you? As Delia said, people don't want to buy it. Machiri's asking price. What is Machiri? He hasn't got an asking price. Machiri has literally said, apparently, to more than one consortium that he will write off his ask. So essentially, you're not getting it for free because there's always something in it. He hasn't got this asking price. He wants 500 million plus this, plus all of that was out there. I don't think it's real. So I don't know whether it's an asking price. If the deal falls through, they will know Machiri will have to drop his asking price. I mean, John's in the studio and he's not agreeing with that. I don't know, Nathan. Of course I don't know because I haven't been sat with Farhad and no one's come to me and said his asking price is this. But the stuff that is out there and in the bits you read which have been floated around is the money that Everton owe him, which is loans. He's taking his equity. So say I'm trying to John's here, so I'm aware that I'm trying to get this right, my understanding. But if 777 get it, let's just use them because they're in the room. If they get it, the 160 million they've lent Everton up to now, and I know there's another 30 million apparently going in soon, but they've said it's 160 now. So we owe them 160 today. If they're approved with the rubber stamp tonight, tomorrow, that goes into equity. We don't owe them anything. They own the football club. We don't owe them anything. So if it's passed, then Machiri's, say it's 400 million, say, for argument's sake. That's taking off Everton's debt as well, because that's going to equity and he's doing a deal with 777, however that looks, but it's not on Everton's thing. So straight away, Everton become theoretically 550 million better off just by 777 getting rubber stamp. We do owe rights and media funding because it's a facility. West Ham, I think 8 or 9 clubs use it, but we do owe them money. And we owe MSP, obviously, 100 million or 120 million, whatever it was. And we owe the bank, I think, some money.
The rights and media are they're the number one. They've got everything locked in.
Okay,
they basically own Everton.
But if
no, they do in administration. They get everything, John. You know they do.
Okay, but if
know they do,
but straight 777 could come in and go. So rights media
they're the
funding.
top ones, aren't they, John?
There's your 150
They're the top
million.
ones, aren't they?
In the debt pile.
Yeah, there you go.
Right, so if they go, so
Sorry, that doesn't go to, they get everything.
Right, okay.
You know
All right,
what I
don't
mean. You've
listen.
got to simplify.
I'm just simplifying it. So if 777 come in and went to Rights Media Fund, there's 150 million, go away. They're gone. They're out the equation.
Yeah.
Up to, we don't even know if it's the full
Yeah, 'cause
thing.
it's-
So they go, and then you just owe MSP, and obviously your operating cost, you've got to consolidate the other stuff, blah, blah, blah. So I don't think that's true about a Mashiri asking price being too high. I really don't. Nathan, you might be spot on, but the things I'm told by journalists and what they've heard and other people who are in the know with that, and Mashiri has let this out, that doesn't seem to be the case.
There's a conundrum there, isn't there? Apparently,
Because I wouldn't be writing it off, by the way, but hey ho.
apparently 777 Football Group have no money,
Yeah.
but they're prepared to pay more than these guys in the shadows who have money but don't want to pay it.
Yeah.
The reality is, and we talked about it on the sofa more than once, if your objective is to get hold of Everton Football Club, and Ped said it earlier, at the lowest possible price,
Yeah.
and by the way, the lowest possible price is squeezing the debtors, not the price that was
Yeah, finishing now. Yeah.
is just before they go to administration.
Yeah, okay.
What if 777 don't get clearance? So we owe debt to them.
They're
we owe
bottom
debt
of the,
to
they're bottom,
but we owe debt to them.
but they're bottom
We
of
owe
the pile.
debt to Rights and Media,
Yeah.
and we owe debt to MSP. And the only way to pay him off is in equity and shares. But then all the debt that we owe them
Yeah.
is worth more than 50% of our shares.
What will happen is that
Monster
somebody
trucks every
else,
week.
allegedly in the shadows, will come along and say, we are prepared to buy a football club. However, our conditions include Rights and Media funding. Apparently, Everton Football Club owe you £150 million. We'll give you 50 of it. MSP, owe you X, we'll give you half of it. ABC, you owe this, we'll give you half of it. Or, a more likely thing is, you'll get your money, but you'll wait 5 years for it, and the interest that you're going to get, return on capital, will be lower than it is now, but at least you will get it. The alternative is, Everton go to administration. Ped's right to say RMF at the top of who gets money. And if you want to think of it simplistically, if whatever it turns out to be worth when it has a fire sale of players and all those sorts of things is only enough to satisfy RMF, no one else gets anything. Right, which would include me as a shareholder, but I'm not a debtor, whatever. But that's it.
Right.
And Baz nailed it. What you're saying is these people who are in the shadows, a bit like footballers get better when they're sat on the bench.
Yeah.
Some people consider them more appropriate than 777, even though they're the ones who want to get us for the absolute rock bottom price that they can, and potentially are prepared to let us go to administration to do it.
Yeah. Right, let's leave it. Basically, John said I'm right. Listen, tomorrow, when we do the live, we're not talking about 777 or points deductions. We'll talk about the match because it's becoming friggin' Groundhog Day. So thank you everyone who's put up and listened to this. Thanks for all your opinions. Like and subscribe while you're here, but also do the same for More Than a Game. Go and do it. Be good. Right, we'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.